Salam Maradi with Douglas Salomon again, and welcome to our final class in Real Estate 101. How are we going to get to the closing? Now, this is a very long process. It's a video in itself here. You are this close to closing the house, yet at times it may seem far away and a long and bumpy road. The first thing your buyer is going to do is he's going to have a home inspection. Now, the home inspection takes place in the house. It's a couple of hours long. And like any other profession, there are different kinds of home inspectors. Home inspectors that look everywhere, very professional, they're nitpicking on everything. And then there are home inspectors that maybe aren't so good. And not only may they miss things, they also may make a big deal out of nothing. Now, before you have your home inspection, you should actually manage your expectations here. I mean, if your house kind of looks like this, you need to have an idea that the home inspection is going to find stuff. Or maybe you're buying new construction. Shouldn't be a problem, right? Easy enough, but you're still going to have a home inspector. Now, the home inspection will actually give you a report, a written report. On a 60, 70-year-old house, the written report will be 30, 40 pages long, come with links and photos. On new construction, the report will be about 30 or 40 pages long and come with links and photos. You're hiring a professional to look at every aspect of your house. And really, aside from finding problems, they're giving you kind of a checklist of things you want to keep an eye on, maybe repairs in the future you want to do. But any kind of expectation needs to be negotiated prior to actually having this. Now, while the home inspection is being ordered, both buyer and seller will now contact their attorney. Now, attorneys have different personalities as well. And it'd be nice that if you're buying a house in a certain town that both buyer and seller are using attorneys from that town. They generally bump into each other at Starbucks or wherever else, and they already have a relationship because by definition, the attorneys are going to want to pull in opposite directions. They're going to be working for their client, having their best interest at heart. So your seller's attorney will produce contracts, send it to the buyer's attorney. The buyer's attorney will make the usual attorney changes back and forth. Eventually, they will agree on the legal wording of the contract. Now, the contract goes back to the buyer and their attorney. The buyer signs the contract. The buyer hands over the deposit check agreed on. And then the signed contracts are FedExed, hand-delivered, however, and they get to the seller's attorney. Seller's attorney reviews those contracts, makes sure everything's okay, takes the deposit check, puts it in his escrow account, and now you are fully in contract. Now at this time, a copy of that contract goes to your mortgage broker. Now this is a very complicated and winding process. It has to do with appraisals and titles, and a number of things have to happen. And we can go over that again with a mortgage broker, and he can define that better. But both buyer and seller at this time are eyeing that closing date. That all-important closing date. Well, let me tell you about that date. It's kind of a target. In the contract, most likely, the date is listed as an on or about. That means, and in New York State, that on or about date can be extended by 30 days for any reason at all by either buyer or seller. And even after that, there may be extenuating circumstances. The date is a target which is rarely ever hit. Now, you may have certain exclusions where you can't close or need to close. Basically, you're going to close when those three attorneys, the buyer's attorney, the seller's attorney, and the bank attorney can all meet at the same place at the same time. And already, before they'll even schedule that closing or put it on their calendar, your bank has to issue a commitment because nothing happens without a commitment, not closing for sure. So you've got a commitment with conditions that are met. The attorney set a date. Now, the date may be a Friday, whenever it is. The last thing a buyer wants to do is to go in and have a walkthrough. Now they're going to go in and make sure all the appliances work and they're there. Make sure there's no leaks, check all the plumbing, flush the toilets. You know, this is their last chance to find something wrong. They're going to own this house in a couple hours. So it's very important to do. If there are any issues with the movers, maybe they bumped into something, anything that's different than when they saw the house, they need to address it, and usually this is not a problem. Now the Holy Grail. They go to closing and they get the keys. There's handshakes all around, congratulations, and that's the end of the process. Simple enough. If you have any questions, give me a call. This is Salam Maradi with Douglas Salomon signing out and class dismissed.